one of the most, so we are in July, okay? And one of the most anticipated movies of not only the summer, not only the year, but the next month, okay, is Barbie. Barbie has taken everything by storm. This has gone viral. Um, I remember seeing this the first time, and I heard about this. I went, "Oh my God, they're making a Barbie movie," and then nothing was really, set in stone. And then we started to get a couple of, casting and everything else, and the director Greta Gerwin, who's done Little Women and a couple others, and I went, "Okay, that's good." And they cast Margot Robbie, and of course she's been blowing up for the past 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, she's of course Wolf of Wall Street. She did a little cameo in The Big Short. She did I, Tonya. I mean, she's been fabulous. And at that point, I went, okay. So then they go get Ryan Gosling, and of course, I mean, we're talking La La Land and several other movies. He's Blade Runner 2049, and I went, okay, what exactly is this story going to be? Because it's about a doll, right? So the first trailer comes out. And of course, everybody knows about the first trailer. It was set to the music of 2001: A Space Odyssey, and it was pretty good. I got to be honest, it was pretty good. Then we get a second trailer. I'm like, eh. And it really, I had a completely preconceived notion of what this was going to be. So we get the final trailer, and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm in. And I'm in on this. And I think that it's really interesting to see where this is going to go. That all being said, Barbie, okay, is going to be the most anticipated movie of July, okay, for the month. So this comes to us from the Wrap, and this is actually going to edge out Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning and Oppenheimer, believe it or not. And I think there's something to be said there. You might as well paint Hollywood pink for the month, because Barbie, the upcoming fantasy comedy starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, is the most anticipated movie of July, according to Whip Media's latest anticipation report based on viewer data from Television Time, its TV and movie tracking app, and 26 million global registered users. That's a good sign, obviously, when you consider Barbie is facing off against stiff competition at the box office this month. Much has been made about the Greta Gerwin directed flick releasing on the same day as Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan's new movie on the development of the atomic bomb. Both movies will release in theaters on July 21st in the United States. Fans are clearly looking forward to seeing Nolan's new biographical movie, which stars Cillian Murphy as J. Robert Oppenheimer, the American physicist who spearheaded the Manhattan Project. The fans are simply more interested in seeing Tom Cruise return for his seventh Mission Impossible role, as it turns out. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 came in as the second most anticipated movie in July, while Oppenheimer placed in third. And I'll show you that chart in just a moment. Back to Barbie for a moment. If you're interested in how potential audiences break down, 60% of the followers heading into its release are women. That's not a shock. According to Whip Media, the viewership and its audience leans young, with 25% of its followers being 24 or younger. That's very good because they spend a lot of money. The 25 to 29 age cohort is the second biggest slice, with about 18% of its pre-release followers falling into that bucket. Moving on, Haunted Mansion, the star-studded horror comedy that's coming to set out on July 28th. So this is the chart. We'll get to that in just a moment. And it stars Lakeith Starford as a paranormal tour guide. And now it's got Tiffany Haddish, Owen Wilson, Danny DeVito, Rosario Dawson, and Jamie Lee Curtis. The horror flick The horror theme comes with Insidious: The Red Door, the fifth most anticipated movie of July. And this is the fifth film starring Patrick Wilson. He'll be making his debut behind the camera. It's worth noting that Bird Box Barcelona, the Spanish spinoff to the 2018 Bird Box, came in as the 10th most anticipated movie of the month. That's pretty impressive considering the new movie that doesn't have Sandra Bullock. And that will hit on the 14th. Okay, so here's the chart. Okay, here's the chart. And I see your comments, Antonio, and I will get to those in just a few minutes. But yeah, so here's the chart. So this is interesting. Okay, so this is the question was asked: what upcoming films are United States audiences most interested in watching? These are the top anticipated movies, either theatrically or streaming, for the month of July. Barbie is number 1. Okay. Mission Impossible is number 2. Oppenheimer is number 3. So let's run through each one of these movies real quick. Barbie is one of those films that I think that there's a lot of anticipation for because we don't know what it's about at the end of the day. I mean, we now have an idea of what it's about, but we didn't for many, 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 many months. And I think that that mystery of it really did well, right? I think that being said, you have somebody like a Margot Robbie who's stepping in the shoes, and there's a big thing about it. So, I mean, yes, you've got Will Ferrell in it, you've got America Ferrera, you've got a couple others. But yeah, I think in Barbie, as it said, okay, 66% of our fans of this film are women. Okay. And you have the 25 to 29 crowd, and they're spending a lot of money. So I think that's going to really bode well for this. And there was an article about a month ago that said Barbie was tracking more than Oppenheimer was. Because you got to look at the nature of the content, right? Barbie's this fun-loving, doll party, summer type of film. And on the other hand, you have Oppenheimer, which is very dark, which is very depressing, which is very, historic. And you don't know how it's going to go. And it's a 3-hour runtime. And that really doesn't help matters most. Nonetheless, I think that that's phenomenal. I think that, the fact that this is number 1, their marketing was absolutely great. And I think, I'm in. I had a totally preconceived notion of what this was, and they hooked me with the last trailer. Okay, I was laughing, and I absolutely want to see it. So I'm going to obviously do the double feature like millions of other people probably, but I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with that. Mission Impossible. You know exactly what you're getting with Mission Impossible. You know exactly what you're getting with Mission Impossible. Okay. Everybody that has seen the press and the people that have seen this said this movie's out of touch, out of sight good. Right now it's tracking for $90 million opening weekend. I think it probably could hit 100, but moreover than that, if this is as good as people think it is, I had a hot take. I think this could be a Best Picture nominee. And I know that you're like, what the hell? Yeah, I do. Because you have to look at a couple of things, okay? Number 1, Tom Cruise has a lot of goodwill in general, okay? So, Top Gun Maverick made $1.5 billion last year, okay? Number 2, it is the last part 1 of the last films that he is doing for this franchise. All you're going to do is take a look at Dune Part 2 or Dune Part 1 last year. That got nominated for Best Picture. Okay? If it's artistically done, they will nominate it. Okay? Number 3, it's the first time in 5 years we've had a Mission Impossible film. And they have some dangerous things in it. I'm not saying it's the end-all be-all, but there's something to be said about, I've always said Tom Cruise is the last movie star we have. And I mean, all you got to do is watch the 9-minute thing on YouTube from Paramount, and that will get you hooked. The prep, the development, everything going into this, and then going and seeing this and actually getting it done, amazing. So I think there's something to be said there too. And number three, okay, we'll go back to it real quick with Oppenheimer. I mean, this is one of those projects that it's a dark movie, okay, because we know what came out of it. But it's a biopic, and I think it's a story that has to be told. Okay? I mean, this whole thing changed the history of the world. And that's the main focus of this. This person here, Robert Oppenheimer, changed the world with what he developed. And so it's really, the counter program is fascinating. Like I said, you've got the dark one, and you've got it's very interesting to see what happens. So, I mean, and then you have others like Haunted Mansion, okay, Insidious. I like horror films. I'm not a Insidious type of person. Joyride, I heard, was supposed to be good. So yeah, I mean, Bird Box, of course, the 2018 film starred Sandra Bullock. So I mean, there's a lot of good movies coming out, and it's going to be interesting to see which ones hold fast. Okay, because whichever film comes out word of mouth on the 21st is going to have the whole 2 or 3 weeks of August until Blue Beetle. Okay, don't get me wrong. I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to do well, but it's not going to make as much buzz. So, anyways, guys, what films are you looking forward to? Which films are you going to go see opening day, or are you going to kind of wait to see how the ratings are? Is it Barbie? Is it Oppenheimer? Is it Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll get back to everyone.